Ladies and gentlemen, we back.
Episode number 2.
Indeed.
Season number 2.
Because we're committed.
Because we're committed. Third time is the charm.
Exactly.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers, man. I've been seeing a lot of comedy podcasts since last week. You know Mark Norman?
Yeah, he's funny.
He's been doing a podcast. Sam Morrillo's been doing a podcast. And like all the guys that Joe Rogan has on, they've been coming up like on my YouTube feed nonstop.
Well, because I think it's like the easiest, like, I was hearing this the other day, right? So remember when the whole COVID thing was, you couldn't leave your house?
Yeah.
And comics were performing for cars, people in cars.
Really? Like on the street?
Well, no, you had a stage, but people, 6 feet apart, so the audience was in cars.
Oh, shit. I never heard
And
of
so
that.
that seemed a little dystopian.
Yeah, that's a crazy format to be.
So I think people figured that, like, you could just do podcasts and have an audience.
Yeah.
And then there you go. That's your channel for comedy.
We had at my apartment in Boston, they would have like events and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they did one time that they did like a Zoom call with like a comedian on it. I thought that was so weird. I didn't join because I thought it would be.
Do you remember the comedian?
No, it was just like some random, probably some local guy. But I thought like that would be such a weird like format. I feel like whenever I'm in Zoom calls, it's like kind of awkward. Some people are muted, some people are not. Like, you know.
But I think you're a little low. But yeah. Dude, I got COVID 3 times.
Was it bad?
I mean, the worst thing was not being able to taste and smell the first time, but then the other 2 times, I like to say I have experience, and I got all the variables,
All variants.
all the the variants, yeah. But
Did you have it like when it was bad? Yeah, lockdown when people were freaking out.
Yeah.
Really?
That's the first time I got it, and that's the time that I lost smell and taste, which
That was like the worst time.
yeah, for sure. But it never really was that. I mean, it felt like I was just sick,
Yeah.
like
a normal like cold or flu or something.
yeah.
That's crazy.
But
It's
I don't
looking
know.
like we're finally out of the woods with that shit, right? With COVID.
But do you think it's because like people are just getting tired of it?
I think that's part of it, but I think there's still like you still have people that are like genuinely afraid, or like still want like still wear their mask when they walk into stores and shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think everyone's a little like fed up. I think it's like the economy obviously took a hit, so I think like the business world is like tired of this lockdown and restriction shit, and they're like kind of the ones like that really move everything. So
What do you think about the argument that's like mandating vaccines and stuff? Because I heard this funny thing. Well, not funny, but it was, wait, you want to get a vaccine, you get a vaccine, and then you're protected.
you can still get COVID.
Yeah, but does a vaccine not do anything?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I guess
I feel like they came out like at the very, very start, like when they first rolled out the vaccines, which was like December 21, like around there. And they were like, you get it and like you're done. You're good. You're not gonna catch COVID, you're not gonna infect anyone, you're gonna be fine. And then like slowly, like very slowly, it was like you might catch COVID, but it's not gonna be bad, you won't infect anyone. And then a few months later it was like, oh, like you might catch COVID and you might infect someone. But you still won't die, it won't be bad. And then like little by little it was like, oh, now you need another dose.
Yeah.
Now you need a pump. You know what, dude? The number one like most profitable product ever created was the fucking COVID vaccine.
For real?
Number one.
Most profitable product?
Yeah, because deep it. It's like there's like almost 8 billion people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those people have gotten the shot already?
Yeah.
Okay. Multiply that by 2 to 3 jabs at this point. In Israel, they're like by the 4th jab. It's like, it's a lot of fucking people, man.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
but you think it's expensive to make a vaccine? Probably is.
Yeah, it probably is. I don't know. I had read somewhere that it was like the most profitable. I don't know. They do these deals with governments and corporations, all that shit, to like get the price down or by
True.
bulk or whatever it is. I don't know how that
True.
shit works.
Yeah, it's a good investment to get in the vaccine business.
Yeah, spooky, man. It is.
But yeah,
That's people's like problem with Bill Gates, that he's like in Africa with the vaccines, like experimenting and shit. I don't know if I believe that, but
dude, there's a lot of conspiracies.
there's a lot. There's so many about him.
What do you how tinfoil hat are you?
I think I'm pretty tin. That's a good one. That's a good way to put it. I think I'm kind of tinfoil hat for some things, but I think I like to entertain like everything. You should at least entertain.
But there's some that are real.
Absolutely.
Like there's no, and some that I don't even think are even like they shouldn't be kind of grouped into that tinfoil hat section. Like
What do you mean?
the fact, like the corrupt government, like is that even a
Totally.
conspiracy theory anymore? Like
at this point, it's like
it's not really.
right.
Like if you look at kind of the past
Yeah.
and things that have happened, and like, dude, the way that the incentives are set,
It's like.
it's not really a conspiracy.
No, I think at this point it's not. I think it was like if you would have said that like a few years ago. Oh, the government's corrupt. Oh, we do bad things in the name of profit. Oh, we're meddling in other countries' governments. If you would have said that a few years ago, it's like, whoa, like taboo. You're a flat earth or you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying. Absolutely. Like every day, it's becoming less and less like unbelievable.
Well, because it's like one time after the other.
Yeah.
Things happen, and like at this point, it's not like it's all a lot of it is profit driven, and if you put yourself in a position where you're in the government and someone were to offer you a certain amount of money for you to do something or push a certain narrative, like how good do you think that you are that you wouldn't accept that for millions of dollars?
Yeah, I guess it's like human nature, or like how strong are you, like rooted in your morals or whatever, that you won't, do X thing for $10 million.
Exactly. Because like a lot of people, I think, like very conspiratorial, like they think, oh, there's like a whole grand narrative and stuff. But you don't necessarily need that. You don't need like a grand narrative. You could just, the way that the incentives are set,
Yeah.
things could unfold in a corrupt manner.
Oh, for sure. It's just like the way that the system is. Like,
What's a conspiracy theory that you would say?
dude, like one that I won't really like back up. I'll entertain it because like why not? But I was with my uncle talking about conspiracy theories one time, and this guy was like, because he's very like vanilla, he's very square, like doesn't believe in any shit. He brought up like, oh, do you believe that the moon landing was fake? Because there's people that say that it was made in.
Joe Rogan was big on that one.
Really, he says that it was fake.
He goes down in the rabbit hole.
No
dude.
fucking way,
Dude, but he was.
What?
I think he went that one and then like Bigfoot too.
Bigfoot, like I think
UFOs.
I think Bigfoot's kind of dumb. UFOs, I feel like definitely there's got to be something.
Like, do you think people have sighted UFOs before?
Dude, I definitely believe in aliens.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. The question is, how have they visited us, right? Yeah, so that's what I don't know. There's some weird footage, man, and there's some funky stuff coming out of like.
But you know what Elon Musk said? He's
Navy.
like, why does nobody have a higher quality camera?
That's all. Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Like,
Dude, nowadays you'll record everything.
Yeah. But there's this guy that's been on Joe Rogan too. Fucking Guy loves listening to this dude.
He told me, bro. Guy told me it was.
He's a French guy, dude.
He's upset. Like I remember, it was.
Jean Val something. It's what it is.
Isn't Guy like really into UFOs?
Yeah, Guy loves UFOs. When I went to Nashville, we just spent like 3 days just talking about UFOs and watching videos.
John von Neumann or whatever. Yeah.
John UFO. I'm gonna find him. Dude.
I don't know why that name just popped up in my brain, but. Is that
yeah, I don't know. Joe had a podcast with him, and they've made like movies about it and shit. And apparently, the CIA was like doing some weird shit with some like crashed UFOs they found like out in the desert.
Well, there was a guy, Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar and this other guy. Fuck, what's his name?
Well, he apparently worked at like Area 51 or something, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he like reverse engineers these spacecraft. Bro, if an alien comes, though, we're fucked. Like, it's not like we can, like, what are we doing? Reverse engineering things. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we're like steps behind them, multiple steps behind them.
because we can't even, we're not even on Mars yet.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even know if those things are alien. Like those, have you heard the one that it was like a bean and then the Navy saw it like in the water and then it fucking takes off? Like that potentially maybe is not even alien. If it is even fucking real to begin with, that could be like some other country's like advanced something or like maybe there's aliens in the ocean. Like I don't fucking know. That's why I'm like super iffy about this one because it could just be so many things. Like there's no clear like the evidence or what we've seen points like really concretely points to it being this or the other. So I don't fucking know.
Well, yeah, but I think inevitably like by the amount of galaxies that we see and the amount of stars and habitable planets, like there has to be other life in the universe. There's got to be something.
Absolutely.
Like I think what is it? There's like 100 billion habitable planets in the Milky Way.
It's insane, dude.
In the Milky Way.
We can't grasp that. Like you think you can grasp that?
No, I can't. I don't have no idea what I just said when I said 100 billion. Like I think crazy. What is it? A million seconds is what is it? It's like a week or 2 weeks, something like that. And then a billion second is like 32 years.
Insane, dude. Like that's so much. Like the gap is just absurd.
And then there's people that are almost trillionaires in today's society.
That's another one. I saw this video that like Tupac was speaking, and he was saying, "How can like someone be like a billionaire, like Jeff Bezos, right? And then someone else like not even have a home. Jeff Bezos has like
I saw the video.
10 homes with 30 rooms in each, fucking 7 mega yachts, like, and then there's someone that goes to sleep every night hungry in Skid Row, like.
Yeah, you're getting a little socialist, bro.
Yeah, but I was kind of thinking about it, and the way I kind of processed it was like, that's absolutely unfair. That's super fucked up. But I think if you solve that, and for people that are not watching, I'm doing solve with quotation marks with my fingers. If you solve that the way most people think, which is like, like socialism, you get the government involved. The government's very ineffective. The government takes a long time to do things. They don't process things correctly. There's corruption involved. There's people that you have to pay involved. So it's like, what could be another way that these people that have billions of dollars, I have no problem with someone having billions of dollars, but I do have a problem with if someone has $1 billion, someone else is on the street or not eating anything. You know what I mean? So what's a way you could fix that problem without getting the government involved?
So I think for that, it's very hard because we talked about this last podcast about the Pareto distribution and how 80% of people 20% of people do 80% of the output. Yeah. And that's what happens. That's a law that tends to happen in every domain. Right. So it's expected that 20% of the people are going to have 80% of the wealth. Now, capitalism, I think the biggest problem is probably wealth distribution and how, it can amass.
I think that's a problem with communism too, man. In communism, you're going to have the 1%.
The communism problem is more like hundreds of millions of people die. Something like that.
Absolutely.
Like murder. On top of it. Yeah. I think the 20th century kind of capitalized on that. But yeah, there is no clear answer because I think natural tendencies, like if you leave 100 people on an island right now, however you want to distribute it for diversifying women, men, whatever you want to do, there's going to be a hierarchy that builds. Right. There's going to be kind of like almost, like, for lack of a better word, like the alpha, like the person who kind of is more in charge.
Yeah, charismatic people look up to him.
And people will be like a system will develop, right? So like naturally, capitalism is kind of, it's close to a meritocracy, right? And if you put in the work, you will get the rewards. But the problem is, I think there is no true meritocracy, kind of hinting at what we talked about last time, because you're born with certain predispositions. Like you might be born intelligent, you might be born tall. Now, if you're born tall and the basketball's the game, you're already at an advantage.
Right.
So there's all of these. So it's not really even a true, a true fair meritocracy. And I don't know if you can achieve that because everyone is a little bit different, slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really hard. But I think nowadays, like, the conversation has been hijacked a little bit by.
What do you mean?
Well, because there's people. I don't want to just blame the left because there's also the right? Because like you have, I think it's like there's that dichotomy there where you have one party say absurd claims, and then as a defense mechanism, the other party says something more absurd.
Yeah.
So then you have now like a huge, right and a huge left, like what's it called, like
more
fringe,
extremists.
extremists,
Right.
exactly.
They're pushing on both sides of the spectrum.
Exactly. So there's no, and the thing is, I don't think common sense and like more centrist viewpoints are popular. Like they're not the ones that get views. They're not the ones that.
No, absolutely. That even gets into like the whole bots on like social media and how, people are saying shit online that's extremist in either direction just to get likes and comments and retweets and to get people riled up and angry, and that's fucking not good.
No,
that's very bad.
Not at all.
But
it's rewarding though.
It is, absolutely. It like getting amped up and being like fuck those
like
people.
What did they say? Are you kidding me? And then there's an outrage, and then there's people who are like articulate and they can address the outrage.
Yeah, man.
And then there's someone else on the other side, and then there's like things happen and people like build on top of that. Like I remember, so recently there were school shootings, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then people who were against guns, they were like, they kind of they support. They said, okay, well, we shouldn't have guns. Look at this. It's obvious. Look at what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then the NRA and stuff like that are just, kind of on the back foot, and they got to defend. And now you look like, okay, now you're the one that's completely right. Mm-hmm. Now, the other day, there was a shooting at the mall where someone, I think someone just killed 2 people at the mall, and then another guy with a gun killed him.
Really?
And so the NRA, obviously, with just astonishment, just hopped on that story and said, look, a good person with a gun, this is what happens when a good person with a gun meets a bad person with a gun.
Yeah.
So there's no, it's just...
Both sides they ignore what they want to ignore, and they support and just blast everywhere of look how good this thing that we support is when it's convenient for them, and that happens in everything, though.
Yeah,
fucking everything.
Well, that's why it's hard to be objective.
It is, absolutely, and it's becoming more. It was reminding me of, dude, there was like this ex-KGB guy that did an interview, and he was saying and I guess this is maybe like a little tinfoil hatty, but the guy was saying how like the communist part of the world, so like let's say Russia, has had like this plan to destabilize Western, like, Western Europe and America, of like capitalism and freedom and all this shit. Mm-hmm. And the way they're doing it, or the way they say they've been doing it, is just by creating like anger and fucking pissing everybody off and dividing the country and taking it down this road of being ununited and being against each other.
100%. Well, you don't want to fight a group that's united.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want
united. We stand. Divided we fall. Is that it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Like if you're against a group, the first thing you want to do is turn them against each other.
Right. Divide and conquer. Yeah. It's weird, man. It's a scary fucking video. Yeah. Have you seen it?
What?
It's this video of this guy talking.
No.
Dude, it's weird because you see the video and you kind of think like, bro, this shit is kind of happening.
But I think that's definitely, like, if you had to ask the Russian people or just whoever's in charge there, like, would you rather them be united or not? Like,
absolutely.
Why? Yeah. Why would you want them to be united in that sense? Like, you think that they're just so morally advanced that they're like, oh yeah, we just want peace.
Yeah. No.
No. The problem is also like everyone just has one lifetime. So everyone just has one lifetime. So you can't achieve world peace or these big goals in one lifetime. So, and everyone is knowledgeable of that. Like, if right now, you know, whoever, Putin or whatever, like, there's no chance that by the time that he dies, he's gonna see world peace or anything like that. So you're like, okay, well, I know that. So what can I do that is good to pass the time, or is good for my people, or is, you know, good, what I find convenient.
Yeah.
So I think that that's also something that like influences a lot of, you know, a lot of these people in charge. Something that I found scary is like, if you have a crazy dictator, or if you have someone in charge that is about to die, and he has that red button, that nuclear power,
they do some crazy shit, man.
I don't find it weird at all that they would just be like, okay, well, I'm about to go out.
Yeah, fuck it, right?
Like, why not? Like
yeah,
I'm gonna die. So
I'm gonna fucking like killing. You know, I'm gonna die killing. Sorry, I'm just gonna break the fucking system.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. You're gonna die. You know.
You know they're saying Putin has cancer.
I heard that.
That's crazy. They're saying Joe Biden has cancer too now.
Bro,
Fucking weird. It's scary. Moreno said it in the chat today. Like, imagine your country being, or your laws being made by a bunch of people above 70. Something like that. I'm not quoting him right.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
It's ridiculous, man.
Because we know that the peak of your brain is not at 70 years old.
No way. You're
we know
well
that.
past. You're well past it. What is it, like 30s?
30s. Yeah, 20. Your brain isn't even fully developed until you're 25.
It's crazy. We have 70-year-old. We have, dude. People start getting Alzheimer's and dementia and shit at that age, man. Like you got arthritis and shit. You can't walk around, dude. You have some old fucking people deciding everything. Like, that's so fucked.
Nothing makes sense, bro.
I feel like a part of it too is like people are seeing like how garbage the government is, and how inefficient they are, and how good they are at pissing people off and not doing the right thing, and how there's corruption and just a bunch of weird shit. And I think just people are starting to not want to fucking get involved generally. The smart, the very smart people, at least the A fucking students in class, bro, they don't want to fucking they don't want to go into government. No way. There's better things for them to be doing with their time.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think if you're actually smart, then yeah. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like, there is a lot of incentives now to go into politics.
Yeah.
Because you get to pretty much buy virtuousness. Like, you get to be on the right side, whatever that side may be, and you get to be informed about it. And there is a market for that. There is a market for people, you know. But also, yeah, being more, I think you're meaning like more government positions, like getting into government, like politicians and stuff.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I think if you're like a properly smart person, and you did have the potential to be a good government official, make a change, or do something good, and you're young, you don't want to fucking do that. Like, there's so many better things to do with your life in your 30s than become a fucking career politician.
Well, especially because you know that you're probably not going to make a change.
Yeah, I mean, also, yeah.
You like...
Yeah, no.
If you want to make... I feel like... Do you think that the best way to make a change right now is to become president?
Absolutely not. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's that way. Like, dude, president... It's like... If you're getting to president, you're either a Democrat or a Republican. Realistically, you're not an independent.
So your views are already set.
Right, and you already have X amount of people that fucking hate you, and Y amount of people that fucking hate you, and certain rules that you have to play by, and certain whispers in your ears telling you, you know, we need you to do this, we need you to do that.
Yeah, but
So,
that's the weird thing about it. It's like, I don't know, if you catch someone in the right state, like you realize like none of this makes any sense. Why are we all playing the right, maybe like a psychedelic state or something?
What do you mean, like the right state?
Like in an observe, because I think like most of the time we're just on the passenger seat of this life, and we kind of accept everything. So like, this is how things are. You know, I'm supposed to go to work. This is all of these views are all, you know, we figured it out. We figured out how we're supposed to live. We figured out most answers. And so I think we don't really like question. We don't question, like, we don't start from the beginning. We don't do a fundamental analysis of how we're supposed to act.
Okay.
And we've been kind of catapulted by capitalism, I would say, because of all this wealth success, because it is the best system to build wealth. Like, that's objective.
To build wealth, yeah.
And it's hard to hit the brakes and think,
Like,
you know,
pause. Like, what are we doing?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard to like stop and think, okay, wait, let's rethink this. Let's see if this is the best system, like this two-party system where everything is preset. The president is just a reflection of the people who vote for him. If like we know that the president doesn't have any original thoughts.
Right. He's a bot. He's a fucking PR player.
Exactly.
That's
We
all
like
it is.
everyone knows that everyone in politics that they're like attributed to a party.
Yeah.
We know that they're never gonna even mention if they have an original, if they think this is wrong, actually, like let me think about this. This is nah.
Right, yeah,
like why would they
nah,
do that?
yeah,
Why would they? Like they're gonna be a lot less popular. They're
Totally.
gonna be like
Totally.
but we all know this. Like
Yeah.
like this is a weird thing. Like
That's I think back to the tinfoil hat shit. It's like that's the big one. Like, you know, government is fake. We're all just slaves in the no think system. Like, you're just a fucking cog in the machine. The people that are saying like stop, pause, what are we doing, are at the very top. They fucking control everything. And it's like they just want to keep the shit running so that, like you're saying, people don't stop and say, wait, like, you know, what am I doing here? I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here for one life. Like, am I gonna spend it like working my 9 to 5 corporate job? Fucking, you know.
But that I don't even think that that's a conspiracy. Like presidents, like the president literally reads from a teleprompter whenever he's talking.
That's another fucking crazy one that's coming on.
Yeah, like
end quote.
Yeah,
End quote. That's
exactly.
crazy, man.
Like he's not speaking. He's not saying like people of America, like let's let's get better, let's improve. These are and like if you're elected as a president, you should be someone with substance. You should be, you know what I mean? You should be someone that like. That's when I think like I see people, very intelligent people, and I'm like, wow, this would be, you know, that would be smart to put him as president.
Totally, yeah. Instead of some fucking schmuck that's just gonna, you know, point fingers and be like, you do this, you do that. This is their fault. Like, you know, we're doing our things well. It's like you should be fucking uniting people, like getting fucking people together, dude.
But it's you know.
I think that's the way like the game has become, the whole politics game in the past like whatever years. Like it's just finger pointing. Like our side isn't as bad as the other side because it's not even, you know,
we're better. Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Like you have 2 shit options.
Yeah.
We smell a little less bad.
Yeah.
Than the other one.
It's like you're not even making points like, well, this, because that's another funny thing. It's like nobody really has anything figured out in both parties.
Totally.
With the sense where like you can really question them on it and then they'll tell you like the long-term effects of it.
Yeah.
So the better alternative is, well, look how bad that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look how bad that is right there. And then you build your argument on that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'd rather have this than that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, honestly, there isn't, I don't think there is a system that's like completely figured out. And, you know, we can come here and like posit like, oh, you know, maybe if we were all to like think and, you know, group together, you know, we could figure something out. But I think there's good points in both. There's very good points in both parties because those are the major parties. There's 2 pretty much, right?
Yeah, there's 2. That's it.
And like, I think it's a good thing that they go back and forth so that we kind of try and equalize. Like if we're bouncing here and there, eventually we'll get closer.
Yeah.
But
it's also what you were saying before, like, you know, as a reaction to each other, each one has pulled so hard to each side. It's like there's no center inside.
But I think that's almost like, I think that's always been a point of contention, like in the past. But today with media and internet, it's just so amplified.
I agree. It's been exasperated.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can, like, if you know, like you can make money off of it. You know, you can also like
You make loads of fucking money, man.
You can have viewers just by having points that have already been set and nobody thinks about. Like people make horrible points that are not thought of, and if you were to question them on it, and they would just dissolve completely.
Yeah.
But like we all just say, okay, well, no, that's facts. Yeah. I'm on the right side. Yeah, like you know,
it's weird. Do you think with COVID and now Ukraine and how bad our politics have been in the past few years and all that shit, do you think people in general are starting to kind of like to use a tinfoil hat term, like wake up and see like maybe there's a better way to do this shit. Like maybe we shouldn't just go along on our merry way and do our work and be good little ants. Like, you know what I mean?
I think for sure, yeah.
Like,
but I feel like every generation kind of says that. I don't know if it's ours is unique in that
yeah,
sense.
it could be.
But I think, like I think we both agree that there is a better way to do things.
There's
right?
gotta be.
There's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
I don't think we have all the answers. Like if someone was knowledgeable and then like were to press us on a certain point, like, okay, yeah, so you want this? How is that going to work?
Yeah.
You know?
We'd blank.
I have my certain opinions. Like I have like for example, like to that example you said earlier, like distinction between communism and capitalism. Like I think they both have pros and cons. The communism pro is like, it seems beautiful. It seems like a utopia. It seems like everyone's equal. It seems like at face value, right? If you say everyone's equal, everyone's gonna have happiness, and then you're gonna have the things that you want, and you're gonna be able to just walk in the park and make art all day, and just you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like that seems, I guess at first glance, nice because you get to, everyone gets to like be represented equally.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh wait, you want communism, but you also want things. How are you going to make things? Right? Yeah,
you kind of stagnate.
Yeah, you can't, like, we know that capitalism is the best method for wealth creation, right? So, yeah. So, like, that's also kind of, to use I don't mean this in an inflammatory way at all, but, it's like saying, like, how today we're supposed to accept everything, right? Mm-hmm. We're supposed to say, it's fine that you're this, it's fine that you're that. Like, if someone were to be a little fat, we're supposed to say it's fine, right? It's fine. And I'm not to say like, okay, yeah, we should treat them badly. No, 100%.
Absolutely not.
Respect everyone and say like, look, I understand your journey, like, but there should be something there to be said that's like, we understand where you're at and everything, but also it's better. We know as a fact, health wise,
totally,
that you should be healthy.
Yeah, you know the new one they're doing, which I think is another like it's ridiculous. They're saying you can't say the M word anymore. You can't say the M word anymore. You know what
M word?
Yeah, you know what the M word is?
No.
Midget. You have to call them little people now.
Dude,
I saw that today on YouTube. I thought it was fucking nuts, man. I thought it was crazy.
Dude, and it's also like intertwined, and it's like YouTube just decides things, and like, dude, and this is kind of
spooky, man.
This is new.
Stuff, dude.
I learned this the other day, and if you guys don't believe me, whoever's listening to this is just as shocking as it was to you hearing this as to me. But I've heard, right, that pedophiles are now want to join the LGBTQ.
Jesus Christ! What? Bro?
I think they're called something like minor loving people.
I saw an interview on Vice, of course, with a pedophile. So like a Vice press person was interviewing a pedophile, like in Germany or something, and they were saying like, I'm attracted to, it was kind of funny, low key. It was like weird in like a strange like Vice like rapey way, but it was also kind of funny because this motherfucker was like, dude, I am attracted to children. Like, I have a problem where I'm attracted to children. I don't want to be attracted to children. I would never like abuse or molest or rape a child because I know it's wrong, but I am attracted to fucking children.
Yeah,
it's like.
That is
you're a child loving person, like. But
I feel like you watching that on Vice, it's almost like, okay, now this piece of information is kind of being circulated in the media.
Yeah,
and it's almost like you're trying to normalize it in a way.
Yeah, it's like now this is acceptable. They're just people.
Yeah, like this conversation is acceptable for some reason. Like the fact that you're saying this out loud.
Totally, but it's like it's fucked up, dude. It's like if you like children and you can't fucking help yourself. Like, first of all, I'm sorry, because that, like, you're fucking weird and that sucks ass. But it's like, dude, like, is that acceptable?
No, but but that's the problem that we run into if we say, okay, love everyone. Everyone should be, everything that they do should be acceptable because, they've been through it. They're just a subject of probably, like, just
The system.
the system,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, like, once you accept that as a premise, now you can't say, like, first off, you can't improve, right? And it's self-defeating, because if you were to say it's fine to be fat and lazy all day and to stay at home and to eat, it's fine. It's a good behavior. It's like, it should be accepted, right?
Yeah.
If you're saying that's fine, right? And you love pizza because you're at home and you're fine, you love pizza. If you take that philosophy to the edge, like, okay, if everyone, because you have to apply it, right? You have to apply the philosophy, like,
If it's acceptable for you, it should be acceptable for me.
Yeah, so, like, if everyone does this now, who's making the dominoes? Who's working at Domino's?
The whole city crumbles. Everything.
Exactly, it's self-defeating. So, like, you should set goals. Now, if your goal is, all right, let's just, like, live as long as we want, but, like, as long as we can, by eating whatever we want and by not moving and whatever. Now, first off, you have to give away with eating junk food, right? Because that's produced, and that's, like, people have to work for that.
Yeah.
People have to, like, work for things like that. People have to set up a business. People have to work physically. So you can't have that automatically. So the goal that you're trying to set has to, like, it has to produce the products, or it
has to be sustainable.
It has to, like, produce the things that are needed for the goal. So, like, if your goal is to just eat pizza all day as a society, like, nobody's
gonna work.
Yeah, nobody's gonna make the pizza anymore. You can't sustain it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think the best way to do it is just to create. I think one of the goals in life or in a society is just really to create, like, a sustainable society where whatever your goals are self-implied in how it works.
I think the thing with that, and I agree 100%. I think the thing with that is that if you have such a big, like, population of people, like, for example, the States, and I think a lot of people would agree with you. We should be creating a sustainable society that is a system that keeps us all going, that is good to everyone, that people are happy. The thing with that is that different kind of people have different opinions on the way we should get there. Everybody wants to be happy, Everybody wants to be happy.
Yeah.
You ask anyone left,
But you don't
right,
want that guy from Vice to be happy. Because
that guy's kind of weird. Yeah, because if he was happy,
Yeah,
someone else would be very sad and traumatized.
Exactly. Well, that's the problem, no?
Yeah, right. So that's what I'm saying. The person from Vice that interviewed him might be saying, the way to make everyone happy is by letting this guy be a pedophile.
Which is weird. Like, it's just like
weird.
you
But someone
can't
else,
get there.
like you and I, might be saying, the way to make people happy is by not normalizing this pedophile shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. This is weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of the whole conservative, progressive argument is like that. It's like we're being more conservative. We're saying we should not be normalizing weird, like, kind of thing, pedophilic behavior. To just say an example.
Seems like a safe bet that we probably should ignore.
I agree. That's why I don't want to normalize it. But it's like, other people who might call themselves more progressive might be saying, oh, but it's, and again, it's what you've been saying. It's like, oh, this person feels this way. This person thinks this way. We should validate that. We should accept that. We should understand that. It's like, again, if you like children, I'm sorry, man, but that's really weird. You have a problem.
Yeah. No, it is. It is a problem. And, like, but again, there's such a big conversation to be had here, because, again, as weird as it sounds, society sets the problems, right? If we were in a society full of pedophiles, like, we would be the weird ones. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but the fact is, if you want a sustainable society, you have to kind of identify some problems. You can't have people roaming around in children's parks just picking them up. You can't do that. You can't have that if you want children to develop, children to feel safe.
Totally.
You know what I mean? You have to make some sacrifices, I guess, as hard as the sacrifice that
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah. You have to make some, and, like,
Totally. No, I agree.
that goes back to it really does it ties right into the morality question, because if you have an objective morality, we instantly know that that's wrong. We instantly can make rules and laws that say, well, look, we know it. Look, it's objective. We know that that's wrong and right. once you have a subjective morality, you kind of have to like do more work to set the boundaries and set the parameters for a good society. And I think that's hard. And I think that kind of, like we like, unless you develop a real science, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you say like, yeah, we have the science of morality where, we can do a CAT scan, we can do a scan of your brain, and we can see what states of consciousness are better than others. That's when you can say,
whoa.
That's when you can say like, okay, well, objectively, if our goal is to have better states of mind, so we're happier, we're more fulfilled, things like that, then we can have objective answers to it.
Right. We can do it fact-based, research back.
Exactly. Which would still be a science, but I think that that's the best course of action that we can do.
Right.
Because we're doomed, in my belief, because we don't have an objective morality. Now, a lot of right-wing people, a lot of conservatives are very religious, right? And therefore, like, they believe that they have an objective morality.
Following the Bible or their God or whatever.
Which, now that I think about it, you can't even get an is-ought from God, right? Because, like, you can't say, you can't, you know how we were talking about this the other day, how you can't get an ought or should from an is?
Listen to the first episode.
Yeah, you got to listen to the first episode, guys. There's some backtracking here, but yeah, if you say what God says is good.
Why does he say this?
No, it's like if you say what God says is good, it doesn't follow that you say we should do what God says. It says what God says is good, we should do what is good, we should do what God says.
Okay.
So even if you have a religious mentality, you can't get an objective morality in that sense. Like, there's still assumptions that you have to make. And it's hard, but I think just like we said, we have like max 100 years here,
Yeah.
Maybe more now with medicine.
Dude. Oh, that's another, my bad, what were you going to say?
No, yeah. I was gonna,
So, my grandma died a few months ago. When I was in Thailand, like a month and a half ago, some shit like that, whatever. Point is, she got up to like 93, but her body was good. She would walk and shit, where her body was very healthy. Her brain was fucking gone though. So I was talking about it with my dad, and we were talking about the whole like medicine is evolving shit, and it was like, yeah, medicine is evolving, but medicine of your body. You're not going to get arthritis, you're not going to get cancer, you're going to live to be 100 and you're still going to be a well-oiled machine. But then there's a different medicine, and it's the one of your brain and your mind and how that's going to work. Because she got dementia, and she, like, when at the very end, she wouldn't talk to you, she wouldn't open her eyes, like, just zombie, So, I don't even know where I was going with this.
Well, yeah, what if we're in this body, but we aren't even conscious of the experience?
Yeah, it's like, is it worth it to be advancing all this medicine in these certain things, but be leaving what is probably the most important piece behind?
Well, I would assume that you also your medicine for your brain, like the ultimate medicine for your brain would be Elon Musk getting the Neuralink done with, and then we download ourselves into a computer.
That shit is so scary, man. I would never get that in my fucking brain.
You wouldn't?
No way, not a chance.
Dude, but what are you going to do? Like what if everyone gets access to the internet? Now you're at a disadvantage because like they know the answer to everything. And now you're fucked in the job market. You're fucked
No, man, I don't want to get that shit, dude. Bro, what if, it's just fucking weird hypothetical for kicks. What if, like, I don't know, some important person, Xi Jinping, what if the Chinese communist leader gets this thing implanted in his head? And someone, maybe that's a bad example, but you'll see what I'm getting at. And someone decides to hack it so they can kill him. And someone hacks it and fucking makes it explode in his brain and he dies, bro. First of all, good riddance. But second of all, like, someone could do that to you, they could do that to me, they could do that to Trump or Biden if either one of them got that, they could do that to Musk, they could do that to anyone.
Yeah.
Shit like that it's like, should we be doing this much fucking technology in our minds without thinking about it?
Dude, but
we're moving too fast. Man.
It's so like, what's the word, insidious? Because, it's, this is going to cure dementia. This is going to cure whatever it is. This is going to cure this. This is going to cure that. They planted us that. and then you want to have it for people, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's what they say. And then slowly but surely, someone is going to say, like, this cures ADHD or anxiety. And then, you know, before you know it, everyone is, you know, using it. Everyone's on it. Like with it's very apparent with like the car example, right? So like you have autonomous driving, and if it gets like it's already really good, but I think they have like taxis now where you can just get a taxi or an Uber and it just drives by itself.
In Cali,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
That's
But-
pretty cool though.
That is cool, but the second that it comes out that it's safer, statistically safer for an autonomous car to be driving than a human to be driving, they might just make it illegal for humans to drive.
That would be nuts, man.
But you don't see that being a possible. Well, I mean, it's not hard because if it's so much safer, if you can prevent, I don't know how many car crashes a year, like
Yeah, okay. Statistically, there's a big difference. It's 10 times safer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
it's 10 times safer, 10 times faster because there's no traffic, all the cars are interconnected, whatever the fuck it is, right?
Internet of Things.
And yeah, exactly. I learned that actually in MIS. But
Where'd you learn that? What'd you say?
MIS,
In a class that you took?
yeah,
That's cool.
Internet of Things, yeah. But yeah, dude, I feel that that's totally possible. Not even possible, just like inevitable, because
Damn, inevitable.
at the point where it is safer, like we don't send robots now to do a lot. We send robots now to do a lot of things that humans do.
Totally.
So once robots are better at driving, then you know you might say, look, we can right here on the spot by clicking a button by saying that this is illegal, save 80,000 lives.
Yeah.
So it's a really weird Black Mirror-esque.
It is Black Mirror-esque. It's slippery slope for sure. It is a slippery slope. And I think we're going too fast, dude. Like, I think it's what you had said before. Like, we just have to slow down a little bit. Like really slow down and analyze. Like, what are the effects of this, of self-autonomous cars? Like, now? What are they going to be in 10 years? What are they going to be in 60 years?
But we don't even
think a little, dude.
I don't think nobody really thinks about in 30 years. Nobody really thinks about that. Like everyone just thinks about tomorrow and then next week and then maybe next year, maybe.
If that.
That's
why the whole climate change thing is such a hard to tackle thing for humanity. You know?
Yeah.
It's like no one's really thinking.
You're not benefiting from it. Your
Yeah,
kids are gonna benefit from it.
Right, but you don't think about your fucking.
Yeah.
You know.
You're not thinking about your potential kids in 20 years.
Right.
Or whatever the case might be. Like it's a really weird it's a really weird time, I think, and what we were saying, like, I don't know if we can even, like, I think it has to be induced in some way that you snap out of it. Like, definitely, I think you can snap out of it with psychedelics, right? Because that takes all of your filters away.
Yeah.
It takes all of your filters that you would not even be aware of, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've had conversations that are very calm and long with people that disagree or like that I can tell they're in this passenger seat of this perpetual forward motion of capitalism and all these things, like, and you won't even be able to identify it. It's like, because every word that I'm telling you is being filtered through 35 different ideologies that you hold.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
And all these different things that you were taught. So like you're not even you can't conceive of it. It's like if an alien were to come and they were to tell us something in their language, we couldn't even understand it because like we don't.
It's in a different language.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't attribute like meaning to the words that they're saying.
So are you saying like the words you're telling me right now, or I'm understanding them in a slightly different way than what you're meaning, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that we're very we're particularly similar in the way, but like I'm sure that everything you interpret differently than me, like slightly differently at least.
Because of the way we've been raised, because of where we grew up, because of fucking a million factors.
And we're pretty similar. Like we have a lot of the same interests, but take someone who is not.
Right. To get someone in Nepal, like everything is completely different.
Well, there was a documentary that came out that was like, again, I'm not saying any of my beliefs. I'm just stating facts. So I'm just saying there was a documentary that came out that was "What is a Woman," right?
Oh, fucking yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and what happened was here the question was interpreted in a much different way than
Oh,
when he went to Africa.
yeah,
because
dude.
this guy went
Yeah.
to Africa.
Yeah.
And
he
he
was
asked
with
him.
dude. What's that tribe called? They have the stick and they like jump.
I don't know.
These tall motherfuckers, bro. They're in Kenya, dude. Yeah, and and the guy was like asking them, "What is a woman?" And they were like, "What the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about?"
they're like, but people don't understand that this is a reality that
Yeah,
we take so many things for, like we already come. What is it?
the Maasai tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So what we're saying, it's like us listening to the guy from Vice who's saying, "Oh yeah, I like
children.
I like children." So we're interpreting in this, because we have all of these, downloaded things.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But then someone else, if you showed the Maasai tribe the fucking guy saying "I like children," they would probably have the same reaction. Like, "The fuck are you saying? Like, you're a sick person." Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it's interesting.
some things are universal. Some things are.
I don't know, 100%. Yeah, there's a collective, like, subconscious.
Yeah, well, that's a weird thing, right? Because
Like laughter. Like, why does everybody laugh and know to laugh even when they're a month old?
or like people having words for apple.
What do you mean?
Like different languages have words for apple.
Oh.
So like there's different languages, different cultures. Like this is again a hard point to point through because like I can only say this in English, but
what is it in like Italian?
Well, in Italian it's relatively similar. There's definitely like in Italian you say "ti voglio bene," right?
What does that mean?
It's like you don't really have a direct translation. It's like I want you good, or I want like I want good, like I feel good for you. Like it's a hard thing. It's like "ti voglio bene," like I feel. It's hard to say. You see, there's no direct correlation. There's no like. So there's universals there, like I want or "ti voglio," but they're all slightly different, and then that goes against people. You can interpret that into saying, well, there's human universals, so there is objective morality because every culture has all of these things,
like a baseline of similarity.
Exactly.
Okay.
But then you say, well, but they're different though. They're different.
Obviously, at some point, they're different.
Yeah. But also another thing that this is kind of like off topic, but we were talking about last podcast, right? We talked about the free will, and at the end of the podcast, you said something like really interesting that I was thinking about, that we talked the whole podcast about free will and like our beliefs on it. And then you said, well, this ties in because it could also tie in because you have to get up in the morning and you have to force yourself to go run a marathon.
Yeah.
So, it's almost like you're going to feel tired no matter what you do, right? You have no choice over feeling tired or over being sore. Mm-hmm. So then I was thinking, like, as a life philosophy or as like a thing to give meaning to life, it's like whatever free will is, I think a good like philosophy is to try and get towards free will in the sense that if you feel an impulse like I don't want to go to the gym right now,
go to the gym.
You go to the gym. If you're just a complete subject to your impulses, then it's almost like you maximize your non-free will.
You're not, the opposite of free will.
Exactly. You just get all of these impulses, you get all of these things that happen to you in the moment.
You just act on
and you act on it. So you're like a robot. You're like, you have no free will.
Yeah, like a dog.
Yeah, but if that conception of that idea of free will is, okay, I feel like that is kind of almost like a free will where you get these impulses, you get these desires, and then you decide how to react to them and then how to act to it. So then you almost are the author of your actions because you're not just doing whatever you feel like doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good recipe, kind of like for at least.
That sounds very Goggins of you.
Yeah, I don't know if he talks about it in Free Will.
Probably not, but like do things you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason you feel your brain rewards you after doing something hard or something you don't like, something that takes a lot of work and effort.
Well, I think most people who got anything achieved of any merit had to go against whatever their desires or whatever their impulses were.
Yeah, no, totally.
Because you don't want to work, right?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
I think it's definitely true for some people. Like, okay, Goggins, because I just brought him up already. Like, he ran 100 million miles. Like, he's the GOAT. He's sick. He's a crazy man.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't like doing that shit. Right?
What?
Like running, like hurting himself, like just busting his ass. Okay, get someone else that say loves X thing. I'll do an example because it's one that I know well. My jiu-jitsu coach in Boston, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking obsessed. He eats, sleeps, dreams, drinks, everything jiu-jitsu. That's all he fucking does in his life. For him, teaching it and opening his gym, is that going against his will, or is it like, I want to do this. So. I want to open my gym.
I think so, because if you're gonna open a gym, then you gotta pay for rent. Right? There's gotta be a point where you have to find that money. So you probably have to get that money somehow. And whatever you did to get that money, you didn't want to do. You just want to open the gym and do that. You know what I mean? Like if you're just saying I want to be famous, then not everything that you do is gonna be directly correlated to being famous. Like you're gonna have to do some things that are not.
Would you want to be famous?
It depends for what. Like.
I think I want to be famous.
Yeah.
No. My bad. I think I kind of.
But why?
Yeah, I don't know. Like.
I think there's chairs making noise.
Yeah, a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't get in here. Like, I don't know, man.
Can I change it real quick?
I think it makes your life more complicated. I mean, we're almost at an hour. 56.
Okay, I'll try to seize that.
Dude, I don't know. I think it complicates your life. Like, there's more factors to fucking, like, deal with. People. Like, if you meet someone for the first time, they already have an idea of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
They already think, oh, okay, I'm meeting a pop star for the first time. Oh, she's a bitch or she's X, Y, Z. And you already go into that. You already engage with this person with them thinking X thing about you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, if you're really famous, you can't fucking walk on down the street like in peace. Dude, Messi, for those of you who don't know, Messi is a soccer player.
I hope you would know that.
He rented a house on the Key like last summer, 2 summers ago. And all the little Argentinian kids on the fucking Key, which there's loads of them, which every day were outside this guy's house. It's like, dude, on their bikes, like taking pictures, asking for a fucking signature. It's like, you can't fucking live like
I didn't even find out.
in peace. He rented it from some other Argentinian people that live on the Key. This kid, he's actually, there's a kid like in our grade or the year under, he went to go there, a nice guy. And they fucking, I don't know, I guess they told or people found out somehow, but whatever.
Yeah.
I have a video of the gate of this guy's house like opening and just like you see a ton of, it's like a wave, it's like a crowd of kids like on the street just fucking looking in like to his car. I don't know. I don't think I'd like to be rich. Not rich, sorry, famous.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can't do normal things and you can't.
I don't know.
But what you were saying before about
yeah, we were on about something before.
No, even this thing that you just went on this tangent, like how you think people have a certain perception of you before they even know you, before they even like get to talk to you thoroughly.
Yeah.
Like, I think even without being famous, a lot of the times you feel like it's like that. Like, and that's a problem because like conversations are really nice when you're free to say, well, I know this person, I they're my friend, all these things. And whatever they say, like, I know they're a good person.
Yeah.
A lot of the time today, I feel like you want to, like, every word that you say has to be perfect. You feel like has to be perfect. If not, that, if you mess something up, they'll have that perception of you.
Damn.
And then automatically, like, you think you messed up. But most of the time, that's not true at all. Like, most of the time, someone will say something crazy, or someone will say something, like, you don't agree with, or, like, make a joke that's, like, whatever the case might be. It's, like, you'll forget about that in, like, 5 minutes.
It's gone.
Yeah.
For most people, some it'll stick.
Yeah, but you don't
That's a
want to
good
be
point,
friends
though.
with those people.
Right. I don't know. I think that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like when you meet someone for the first time, you're like trying to fucking like be your best self or whatever, like that bullshit. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to be friends with people. I want them to like me. Like it's kind of whack. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of I don't know. I never thought about that. That's not. I don't think that's a good thing though. Like, you should fucking meet. Like if you're meeting someone, you should be like open arms, open mind. Like
And you don't really want to like be friends with someone who just judges you completely on like one thing that you said. Like that's just very like superficial, you know.
fucking dumb.
Yeah, it is. Like if it's a continuous thing, then well, whatever. Like you just don't agree with that person, you might not want to be friends with them.
Yeah.
That's that's an important thing. Also, like I think a lot of the gurus and a lot of the people who say stuff like as cliched as it is, it's like the five people around you, the five closest people around you are the most important.
Mm.
And like if your circle is good, then you're gonna be good. And I think that I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Like
if you hang around losers, like you're gonna kind of become a loser too, bro.
if I'm hanging out with like three guys all the time, like we live together, whatever, and all three of them are doing push-ups, I'm gonna want to do push-ups. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just a very basic, like easy example.
Completely.
Just off the dome.
Just like to give the idea, but it is like if you're around people who are just okay with everything and are just like, no, don't judge them, like like this is the path that they want to take. This is he's a little bit, just let him be. You're never gonna want to get better. Now, if you're with someone that says like,
stop being a bitch.
exactly, get your shit
do
together.
something cool, like
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna be propelled to. There's one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up, and it's something you had said before. It's about like we just get caught up, and like people in general don't like stop and pause and think like, what am I doing with? And this is like on a more individual level, like personal. Like, what am I doing with my life? I was in New York. I told you I was in New York the other week. I was with my girlfriend. We were talking about like what happens after college. Like, I brought it up because I had been fucking deeping it a lot. I was like, dude, am I just gonna be like every other person? Like, am I just gonna graduate college, get a job, live in New York, get a nice paycheck? Like, is that it?
Yeah.
And I was like I probably don't want to fucking do that. I want to do something else. And then we were thinking like, do people ever like stop and think that and say like do I want to do this? Because I'm sure some people do. For some people it's fun to fucking work 13 hours a day at like a private equity firm.
But really though, because you think that if you expose those people to a higher form of life where you get to like travel all the time and experience all the time and have these great experiences, like they'll still say, I'd rather just be like,
Maybe. When I went scuba diving, this guy was telling me that he went hiking in like Indonesia and he saw like wild orangutans. And whatever, side note. And then we were talking about like, because he was from Spain and he dipped when he was like 20. He fucking never looked back. And I was asking him like, do your friends that are in Spain and are entrepreneurs or work corporate jobs or stuff like that, do you think they look down on you? And he was saying, absolutely they do. They see me as like the hippie that didn't make it and shit. But they will never understand what it is to see wild orangutans. And I was like, dude,
I love that.
Like that's fucking sick. That's
Yeah.
beautiful, bro. Like you're experiencing like an orangutan, realistically that's a species that's probably gonna be wiped out in the next X amount of years. Like
That's another question that have people who don't believe in evolution. If humans came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys, right?
I definitely believe in evolution.
No, I know, but people actually post it as a. What were you saying? What were you saying?
Dude, I thought you were gonna say there was no evolution. I was like,
No. But people literally ask that question. Like,
that's crazy.
They'll say,
Yeah.
well, they'll think that that's a good question. But whatever, what were you gonna say?
No, my point was like what you were saying, like, if these people were exposed to something different, to something more fulfilling and more like, wow, I just saw fucking wild orangutans. Like, how insane that is for fucking 3 seconds. Like, that's crazy, dude. It's like then if you take them out of this, New York fast paced work daga daga environment, and you take them to something exactly what you're saying, experience something new, travel, try new things, whatever, and maybe they'll realize, dude, that shit isn't for me.
Yeah.
Maybe this is for me.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
so
this
true.
is- yeah. I don't know what that guy said about the orangutans. Fucking stuck with me. Because then,
Oh yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think that is. I think we should maybe just bring a bunch of orangutans and show everyone orangutans. Like, I don't know what the solution is, like, because those people will never be able to fathom what he said. Like those people, like, oh, really, like, we'll see an orangutan, like
I'll go to the zoo.
yeah, exactly.
But not really.
You know, it's like you don't understand it. Like you have to see an orangutan in the wild while you're like hiking.
Yeah.
But I've had that thought too that you were saying, like, that damn, am I just gonna be like I'm having all these thoughts and stuff, but in 20 years, am I gonna, come back home from work and then be in that apartment and then that? It's like, and it was scary. It's like, am I gonna do
Yeah,
that?
bro.
It's
Fuck.
scary.
Dude, it is scary. It is scary.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, dude, you don't want to just wake up one day or come back. Dude, 5 o'clock, clock out of work, come back home one day, and then for some reason it's that Wednesday afternoon and you just pause and you say, what the fuck have I been doing for the past 20 years?
Yeah.
What the fuck am I doing with
It's
my
giving
life,
goosebumps, bro. I just
like, it's fucking scary, man. It's fucking scary. And I'm sure that shit happens to so many fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen all the time. There's no way it doesn't.
No,
There's no way it's fulfilling and happiness and all these great things for millions of people to work their same fucking job day in, day out. Like, it doesn't make sense to me,
because
man.
I think it ties into what we were saying before. Like, you haven't discovered anything. You've just been in the passenger seat the whole time.
Yeah, man.
You haven't thought about what you want to do with your life. You've just been like abiding by all of these preset rules and doing, like, going to college and then going to work, and it's fucking scary because then you're like, I'm not real. You're like, I'm just another point. You're like, I'm just another dot in the whole system.
Yeah.
But like, and like, what do you do about that? Like, you have to do something crazy. You have to leave your house from
What do you do
Spain.
about that?
You know what I mean? You have to do something that isn't being in the passenger seat. It's being in the front seat and saying,
Yeah,
like,
driving that shit.
exactly. Like,
But there's definitely 100% there's scary shit that comes with it. You know, disappointing your parents, like having the cojones to say, like, dude, I'm abandoning. You know, I'm everybody's going this way. I'm fucking going the other direction. You know.
well, no, there's
That's
actually
scary, man.
Yeah, 100%. And to give an example before, like, I think it's getting, we're at 1:07, but
True.
I heard this example the other day, and it's like when people who study animals, they go and they look at zebras, right? They have problems analyzing zebras and, like, kind of seeing what their behaviors are because,
Specifically zebras.
yeah, zebras.
Okay.
So because what happens is they'll start taking notes about a zebra, look down at their notes, look up, and they don't know what zebra they were looking at. They forget what zebra it is, right? And so what they do is they'd either, like, mark it with red paint or put, like, a tag on their ears, a tag or something. And what would happen is instantly that zebra would get eaten by a lion or something, right? Instantly.
Damn.
So it's not that lions go after the weakest zebra. They go after what's identifiable.
Okay.
So whatever sticks out from the group.
Whoa.
So it's not about, like, it's not about doing, like, being weak, being slow, or whatever it is. It's about being identifiable. And when you put yourself outside of the passenger seat, as we've been saying it, you're making yourself identifiable. So you're subjecting yourself to all of these different criticisms and all, and that's the scariest thing of all, because you might get eaten by a lion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The hypothetical line.
Or the hypothetical lion. So it's the scariest thing. But, like, we see obviously that I feel like most people who are hyper successful, who are like fulfilled with whatever they want to do, is because they stuck their neck out a little bit. It's because they didn't. Because it's just, like, logical. Like, if you do everything that you're supposed to do like everyone else, like, you're just gonna end up like everyone else. It's like, what else are you expecting? What else are you expecting? So everyone, just please be different. Just be a zebra with a red paint on it.
Yeah, man. Dude, what makes you happy, dude? That's such a cliche, but it's like,
It's a risk versus reward. Like, we have guaranteed safety if we follow what everyone says, but we don't get any reward. You know, like we'd rather have we'd rather have safety. Like, everyone's selling safety now.
yeah, just convenience, be
Yeah.
comfortable, enjoy
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, fuck that. I don't want to be coming back home on a Wednesday night and
Cheers, man.
cheers to that. Yeah. And that's why we're starting the podcast, because we want to get out of the matrix.
Yeah, this is fun. Like I enjoy this.
Yeah.
Today, this is a good up. We're like laughing and shit. I feel like we engaged with the 7 people that watch our podcast.
Yeah. And the 600 on TikTok.
All right. So yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
I know we said that we're going to have a guest on this week, but
Okay.
certain things like happen, but we're definitely going to have a guest on next week. It's really good. And